Hi, and welcome. My name is Steph Morrill. I'm the director of River Valley Commons. River Valley Commons is the project manager for the River Valley Broadband Coalition. And this presentation is from a set of community meetings that the coalition held in May of 2022. So as I said, welcome from the River Valley Broadband Coalition. Let's talk for a minute about what the coalition is. The coalition is a voluntary group or gathering of municipalities. We have towns and villages and counties involved, the school districts, some service providers, individuals, all from the River Valley School District area who care about broadband. We meet monthly. And the idea is that this coalition does a few things. One is that it provides information exchange among our members. So we want to make sure everybody in the area is aware of what's going on in the area around broadband. We also extend that out to the community as a whole. So this presentation, those meetings were an example of how we push out information to the community about broadband. We want to coordinate activities like mapping and data gathering so that if municipalities are thinking about applying for grants, that information can be more easily gathered for our area instead of having to be done one at a time by each municipality. And then also we want to assist individuals. We want to make sure that everyone in our area not only has access to high-speed internet, but also is able to utilize it. So if you saw our publicity posters, which many of you may not have, this is the image we picked. And this is because it's what so many of us are feeling today. Either we don't have access to broadband at home, or the access that we have isn't adequate or reliable. In fact, I'm recording this presentation at someone else's house because I was worried about my broadband and the ability to do this presentation at home. So what we want to do with this presentation is to share information about where fiber is coming. And for many of us, it's coming soon-ish. And so I also want to set expectations. You know, it's not going to be for the same time frame for all of us, and it's not going to be immediate. So we'll go through some of that tonight. First, though, I want to start with some definitions. So I'm sorry in advance if some of this is information you know, but part of my goal is for all of us to be on the same page about what broadband is, why it's important, and where it's coming from in our area, which means we need to have a little background. So let's start by talking about good enough broadband. So we have three different sort of definitions of good enough. RDOF was a federal program, or is a federal program, to help with broadband in rural areas. When it was implemented in 2020, the good enough was 25 down and 3 up. Now that's changed, and Reconnect, which is another federal grant program that's currently underway, if an area did not have 100 down and 20 up, it was considered underserved. For the coalition, our goal is that everyone in our area will have 100 down, 100 up by 2025. So our goal is bigger and loftier than some of these definitions about what good enough is, but we really want to make sure that everyone in the area has what they need to do their jobs, to be educated, whatever they need to do online, they need to have enough broadband to do that. So I want to talk for a second what that actually means, because sometimes I think that people may not necessarily know that, and I want to be really clear what it means when we throw out these numbers. So this is super simplistic, but here's what's up. When you're using the internet, whether that's through your phone or your computer or Alexa or Netflix on your TV or whatever you're using, the process is essentially the same. You make a request, you say what you want, right? The computer somewhere out there in the internet does something, and it returns information or whatever it is you're looking for to you. The internet delivers that to you. So this is an example. You may make the request, whether you do this by typing the words into Google or through Alexa or through your AccuWeather app, whatever it is that you're using, you're making this request of the internet. What's the weather? There's a computer out there that does something somewhere, and then that returns information to you. It's cold and rainy. Today is actually sunny and about 90, so you can tell the weather's changed since I wrote this presentation. But let's talk about what that means. So the upstream in this is you putting out information or a request to the internet. So when you're initiating things from your computer, from your phone, from your television, that's the upstream part. That's the stuff that's leaving into the internet. That computer somewhere does something, and the downstream is what's returned. So in this case, pretty simple, it's cold and rainy, right? But let's look at some other examples. You may make the request, hey, Netflix, I want to watch a movie, right? And then Netflix is going to say, okay, so that computer that Netflix is living on does something, and it returns just a huge pile of data to you, right? So that's why traditionally what we see is higher downstream numbers than upstream numbers, because a lot of the data was downloaded. But as we all know from the pandemic time, this is changing, right? So this example on the right is Zoom. You, as you're using Zoom, as I am using Zoom right now, am uploading a huge pile of data. It's going up to the internet. That Zoom computers is doing a bunch of stuff, and then it's downloading, it's giving you back that information with other data that is part of your meeting or your class or whatever it is that you're using Zoom for. So as you can see in this case, it's no longer just download, right? We need to have good upload as well as download to make sure that we can do the things we want to do, and increasingly probably in the future. So let's go back to this definition again, right? What's good enough broadband? So you can see the coalition goal that equal downstream and upstream. I'm sorry, it says downstream twice, but the equal downstream and upstream will allow us to grow and utilize new applications in our homes. So let's talk a second about fiber. And the coalition is very focused on getting fiber to every home in our community. And this is why. When you go back to our definition of 100 up, 100 down, that's all that's going to be good enough. You can see that fiber is really, as far as I know, and these were the advertised speeds I could find, highest speeds for these providers. There may be higher things out there that I don't know about. Please do let me know if you find something, because we're always trying to share information about good speeds for people to have until fiber comes their way. So you can see in this example, Lightspeed has 1,000 upload download, right? So it's that fiber is super important because you're getting the upload speeds that are high enough for what we want to accomplish. And again, there may be other providers providing these services. I just pulled one as an example so you can get a sense of, from each technology's perspective, whether that's, cable or low orbit satellite, whatever it is, there may be other providers that do those things, but this was just an example. Okay. So what I want to share now is a little bit about what we know about upcoming fiber projects in our area. Now, there's a giant disclaimer with this. First of all, timelines may change. What we're seeing is that there's a lot of federal money going into broadband right now, which is fantastic. However, it is also a time of unprecedented supply chain issues, along with unprecedented funding for fiber going into the ground. So we are seeing delays, significant delays, because of the inability to get, especially conduit and some other things that go into making all this work. So I'm going to tell you some timelines, but those may change. The second thing is that projects will be added. I have May in here. It's definitely going to be true that projects will be added. So I would encourage you, at the end of this is my contact information. I would encourage you to reach out and get added to our email list that we're going to have to update people about broadband in our area. The last thing is we know what we know. There may be other projects that are happening that we are not aware of. So if you know of a fiber project in the area, please, please, please let me know and we'll get that added and we'll get the information out to those who are on our email list. Okay, this is a map of the entire area and you can see the colored lines in here are where we know fiber is or is coming. Now, again, I want to be just say that it's going to be hard to see specific addresses and rows on this map. I recognize that. So if you have a question about a specific address, please feel free to contact me. Again, contact information is at the end of the presentation, and we can look up your address and figure out if your address is covered in any of these projects if it's not clear to you. Another thing I want to briefly mention is that there are areas on that map I just showed that are blank, that are not covered. And there's hope still that those areas will get fiber, even if another project doesn't come along. There's something called RDOF, which was the Rural Digital Opportunity Fund. And what that did was provide an opportunity for providers to bid on rural areas and say, yes, I'm going to provide fiber service to that area by a certain point. Now, they had at least 6 years to install from the beginning. So they're going to have at least until 2026 to install. And this is beyond our hope for our area. But I did want to mention it just to say that, that there is this potential, if nothing else, that RDOF should be coming in certain parts of our area. Okay, so I want to talk about Lightspeed in Iowa County as our starting point. Iowa County's Lightspeed is a provider out of Reedsburg. They're associated with the utility company there. They're pulling fiber to a good portion of our area, partially because they won the RDOF auction, which I just mentioned, for a lot of our area. So there's it helps them financially. Along with other grants, they've gotten a lot of grants through the PSC. Thank you to the state of Wisconsin for funding a lot of this fiber that we're seeing going in the ground through federal funds. So that all being said, Lightspeed is a provider I'm going to be talking about a lot, and they are in a variety of areas within our school district area. So this is an example. This is their Iowa County project. This project is expected to be done in spring of 2023. The enrollment for this project is already open. So you can go to Lightspeed's website and you can sign up now. What it will cost you is $100 for a drop fee. So for them to install it to your home, it's going to be $100, but you will get that back in credit. And currently they charge $60 a month for gigabit up down service. That was the 1,000 number I showed you earlier. Okay, let's talk about MHTC Iowa County. Now, Mount Horeb Telephone Company has submitted a grant to do this area of Iowa County. As of this recording, we do not know if they're going to get this grant, but this is the map of the area that they intend to cover if the grant is received. So we don't have any specifics about this yet, but as soon as we do, again, we'll push that out through the broadband update list. Lightspeed is also going up in the northern part of our school district area through what they're calling the White Mountain Project. This is underway right now, and there was a window to sign up for this area. That window has technically closed, but there are some areas that they're still allowing people to sign up now. So please, if you're in this area and didn't sign up and you're interested in the fiber, contact them as soon as possible. Again, $100, but you get it back in credit. It's $60 a month for gigabit up down service. Okay, another one that's coming is what they're calling the Whitwin project. Again, this is from Lightspeed. This is in sort of the lower right-hand corner of our area, eastern part of our area. And it will be in spring of 2023, but like the Iowa County project, enrollment is already open. So if you live in this area I'm sorry about the cat, you guys. If you live in this area, please do consider signing up whenever you can. It does help them to understand too how many people are interested. So if you know you want it, go ahead and sign up. Again, same thing, $100 to get set up. You'll get that back in credit, $60 a month as of this time for the gig service. Okay, Lightspeed Spring Green Phase 2 is already completed. So this should be one that if you are in it, you should have it. If you are in this area and do not yet have Lightspeed, please give me a call or contact me and we can talk about that. And then Spring Green Phase 3 is coming later in 2023. It's not open yet for enrollment. This is again Lightspeed. We will keep you posted about that. So yeah, we're not exactly sure, but again, if you join the email list, we'll get that out to you as soon as we can. So meanwhile, we do have a couple other opportunities to be involved while you're waiting for fiber. The first is that we're trying to collect information about temporary providers. So we want everybody in our area to be served with the best service that they can get. So we're starting to put together a list of alternatives for people to use now until the point that fiber is available to them. So things are changing a lot in our area. There's more cellular stuff available. Starlink is becoming available. We want to make sure that people know what might be available for them. We have a survey that is linked along with this video. So if you have a minute to take the survey about your current provider, we're going to use that information to help others in our area. So please, whether you like them or not, whatever speeds you're getting or not, we kind of want to know what's going on out there. We do have something called Broadband Reads, and this is, we read reports that are about broadband related issue. We do this once a month. We have like a group discussion of a report once a month-ish. We recognize this isn't for everyone. You got to be pretty into it to want to sit down and read a report and then come in and talk about it. But next month we will be doing a report on digital equity. So if you have some interest in that, you can see the information linked along with where this video was linked. We are starting a digital navigators program. I mentioned in the beginning that we would like to help people get online, not just have access, but have the ability, if they have issues with technology or they don't know how to use certain applications or they are having home networking issues, we really, really want to help them through this digital navigators program. So our idea is that, individuals in our area would help others with these different issues. We're just starting to gear this up now. So if you have interest in that, please let me know. I've mentioned this a number of times. We will have this email list and you can contact me to sign up at the email address there. So as I mentioned, there's some opportunities to volunteer. We are looking for help to make this all work for our area. And we know this is an area of interest for a lot of people. We need digital navigators. So if you're interested in helping with the program, that would be great. If you want to participate in the coalition, especially if you represent an organization or a municipality, we would love to have you at the table. We're also looking for other help. We're going to be writing things. We're going to be potentially, working on grant information, gathering information. We may want to help get the word out for some of our providers in some areas. So as we evolve over time, there will definitely be volunteer opportunities. So if you're interested in volunteering now, let me know. There will be a question if you fill out that survey about it, and I'll get back to you through that. But yeah, we would really appreciate the help. And I know that this is an important issue to a lot of people. If you have questions, we're not going to have a Q&A, but if you do have questions, please, again, staff@rivervalleycommons.org. My phone number is 608-588-7428. Please feel free to contact me and we will get you information. Thank you so much for listening, and I look forward to engaging with you around this topic. Ditto.